Pick one: medical marijuana or owning a firearm.
Pick one: your medicine or your rights. That's the deal Americans have been forced to make for years. If you needed medical marijuana for pain, PTSD, or epilepsy, the government basically told you, tough luck, you can't have a gun. That wasn't a choice, that was coercion. Let's roll the tape on what things used to look like.
That's the decision thousands of Ohioans will have to consider when the state rolls out its medical marijuana program.
When filling out the forms to buy a gun, there's a section that asks if you use marijuana. Depending on how you answer that question could mean automatic rejection.
This is the Section 11E of the ATF form that we're talking about. If you use marijuana, you cannot purchase a gun. More than 1,000 Ohioans will not be allowed to buy or even own a gun because their names are on the state's medical marijuana registry. Buying a gun is a federal right, and it states you cannot use marijuana and own a gun. Medical marijuana is legal on the state level, but it's considered illegal federally.
It's definitely come up because still at the federal level it is, illegal, and by federal standards in purchasing a firearm, if you're a unlawful user of marijuana or any drug, you're prohibited from owning, possessing, or purchasing one.
Eric Delbert with LEPD Firearms Range and Training Facility says even if they smell marijuana on somebody trying to buy a gun, they won't sell it.
We have turned certainly numerous people away who have, just by you can tell that they are, a user of marijuana.
And those who have already exercised their Second Amendment prior to buying a gun could also be affected, according to local Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Public Information Officer Susan Debkowski.
And it doesn't just apply to purchasing firearms. It means if you already have firearms, you're not supposed to keep those firearms.
Yeah, so that was the reality. Get diagnosed, get prescription, lose your rights. All because the feds decided cannabis magically turns you into a criminal. But that was then. Here's what just happened in Florida.
New at 10, a federal court says the government cannot restrict Florida medical marijuana patients from owning guns. Today, the court said the government failed to show that allowing medical marijuana patients access to guns would be a danger to themselves or others. The federal rule had been going through the courts since 2022. And in 2023, we told you about a question that patients had to answer in order to buy guns from shops. It would automatically deny the purchase of the firearm, but Action News Jax found several businesses would sell it just quietly. The FDLE says this is because the federal government cannot verify if someone applying for a gun has a medical marijuana card.
So let me get this straight. I can drink a handle of whiskey every night, slap people around, and as long as I check no on a form, I can still go and buy a gun. But if you, on doctor's orders, light up a joint to keep cancer pain at bay, you're suddenly too dangerous to exercise your rights. I'm sorry, that's not logic. That's hypocrisy, dressed up as public safety theater. And look, I'll be honest, I hate marijuana. I hate the smell. I hate the vibe of it. I hate being around it. Mary Jane and I are not friends. But this isn't about me. It's about rights, and rights aren't popularity contests. The government tried to say cannabis patients couldn't be trusted with guns because reasons. Yet alcohol, an actual catalyst for violence, is never treated that way. You know how many violent drunks I've seen in my lifetime? Plenty. You know how many violent stoners? Zero. The worst I've seen is a guy fall asleep with a half-eaten bag of Doritos on his chest. But here's the kicker. If you're high, you already can't legally carry a gun. Same as if you're drunk. That's common sense, but banning people just for having cannabis in their system, that's not safety, that's control. And the courts finally called BS on it. You see, if a right can be taken away because of your medicine, it was never a right, it was a permission slip. So where does it end? Weed today, ADHD meds tomorrow, insulin the day after. All of it is justified under what-if scenarios. That is not freedom, that is bureaucracy with a straitjacket. So I don't care if you love weed, hate weed, or couldn't care less. It shouldn't decide whether you can defend yourself because you're a citizen, not a suspect. And speaking of defending yourself, this is exactly why I launched the Defend America collection over at shop.mrcolionnoir.com, because the Second Amendment isn't some niche hobby. It's a reminder that rights are worth protecting. The Defend America hats, hoodies, and tees aren't just merch, they're statements. That you understand freedom isn't given, it's defended. And we also have them in the state-specific Keep America Tactical shirts as well. So I'm gonna put a link in the description section of this video where you can check out the Defend America series and the Keep America Tactical or Keep Texas Tactical or whatever state you live in, we got them. And the shirts and hats and drinkware, we got them too. So hit the link in the description section of this video and grab your merch today. One thing's for certain and two things are for sure. Politicians and tech giants don't want gun content to be recommended to you. And we're all fighting this culture war together. Now you can help do your part by liking, commenting, subscribing to the channel, but most importantly, sharing this video with at least one person. Together we can stop the suppression of our 2A rights. And don't forget to click the link in the description section of this video for the products that I mentioned in this video.